Hi everyone, welcome to the Wargaming Parrot. I'm David and today's video is going to be all about understanding conure body language. I've done loads of videos on cockatiels because they've got a lovely crest and all sorts of other aspects which are quite easy to tell what they're feeling. But conures can be a little bit more difficult and they're a bit more difficult to read. So I thought it'd be a very useful video for you guys, especially if you're new conure owners, to know what to look for. And Pickle's just busy snuffling in my ear while I'm talking, so it's kind of funny. I'm going to try not to let it distract me, but it's very cute. But it's very important to sort of like know what your conure is trying to tell you, because there are so many ways that conures try to tell us how they feel, and it's very important to know what they are and how to read them. Now, for those of you who are waiting for more sound and behaviour meaning videos for cockatiels and conures, they are coming. I've got a list of behaviours I'm trying to record, but it's not always easy to get them to perform on cue because they're our pets, not our slaves. They will be coming, to stay tuned for them, but in the meantime, hopefully this video will help you out too. So the first thing I want to start with is feather position. Now, conures hold their feathers in many different ways, and unlike a cockatiel, they don't have a nice obvious crest for us to look at. But for a conure, the feather position can tell you an awful lot about how they're feeling. And to another conure, a very subtle change in feather position could be a very major indication of intent. And our conures expect exactly the same from us. They see us as part of their flock and they expect us to understand what they're trying to tell us. So it's very important that while we may not be able to see all the different subtleties of feather position, there are some we can read and we can respect. So I'm going to talk through some of them now. Now, for conures, feather position is a clear tell of intent. You can, well, there's a good indication there of Pickles right now. So they tell us what they want us to know. And it's very important to understand context. Context is key. Feather position in different contexts can mean different things. It can be quite confusing to those of us who are new to conures and understanding all these little contextual factors. So to make things a little bit easier to understand, because there are so many contextual factors, I've sort of subdivided them into subsections. So the first of those subsections is when the conures are fluffed up, and that means their feathers are all fluffed up and they're nice and fluffy looking. So that generally tends to mean they could be relaxing, they could be a little bit sleepy, they could be a bit cold. They could also be completely neutral. When the conures fluffed up, they could just be chilling out because that's what they do. They could also be getting ready to preen or sometimes wanting pets. The final reason they could be fluffed up is because they're unwell. Now, generally, a conure is not just going to be always fluffed up because they're unwell, and context will be very much key here. So don't get worried if your conure is fluffed up. It's only if they're fluffed up constantly, they're on both feet, they're on the bottom of a cage. I've got other videos which you can watch which will give you more information about that, but don't panic if they're fluffed up, because generally it's just a normal thing. And my next subsection is when your conure's feathers are held up. That means sticking out up and out away from the body. So this generally can indicate all sorts of things to you. And I like to compare it to like a dog's heckles almost, because conures tend to love raising the feathers up around their necks when they're overexcited and stuff. So we can go into some of the aspects of what this means now. Generally, when your conure's feathers are like this, it means they're overexcited and overstimulated. This is the most common reason why your conure's feathers will be all stuck up around the neck, around the head, and in general. It can also mean they're hormonal. It could also mean they're feeling territorial. Sometimes it also means they're playful. We've noticed with Scampi, there's a very fine line, and for most conures, male conures I'd imagine, there's a very fine line between feeling overexcited and feeling playful. So something you need to be aware of. Generally, if your conure's feathers are like this, you don't want to be trying to pet them, you don't want to be getting too close to them or generally trying to touch them or grab them, because it likely is going to trigger a bite because they're overexcited and feeling playful. So please do be aware if your conure is showing any of these sort of signs that you want to respect them, because if you respect the body language, it's going to help your bond with them and it's going to help you avoid getting a very nasty nip, because as you've seen in previous videos, conures are very prone to nipping and biting. They love exploring with their beak, and it's something that's going to happen to you if you don't respect that body language. Regarding feather position as well, when your conure's feathers are very skinny, it can be a very good indicator of their mood as well. Generally, when their feathers are skinny and they're kind of sleek, they could be getting ready to fly, they could be nervous about something, they could also be overexcited. So it could be the polar opposite of having their heckles up, like in the previous sort of example. They could also be hot or uncomfortable, because if the environment's too hot for them, they tend to flatten their feathers, or because it helps them regulate their body temperature. Just conversely, if they fluff up and they're cold, they're trying to trap in heat. It can also indicate that they're curious about something, especially if there's a contextual factor, which I'll talk about in behaviour next. Move it closer to him again. The last thing I want to talk about with regards to feather position is what we call the flat head. So this means that the heckles may be up, the other body posture may be completely different, but the conures head and the feathers on it are completely flat. This can mean they're getting ready to dance, this could mean they're also very excited, or it could mean they're getting ready to display in context of dancing. This could also mean they're getting ready to bite. Generally, a conure who's about to bite will have the heckles up, as I keep using the example of, or their head will be flat, because it does mean they're overstimulated or in a hormonal territorial state. So if your conure has a flat head, it may be best to refrain from petting them or just observe them and see what they're about to do. Your conure's posture can also tell you a lot about how they're feeling and what they want to do. Hello, little man. He's learnt to kiss now, which is quite cute. The conure's posture is a great indicator of what they're feeling and what they want to do. Conures are excellent at telling us what they want through posture, and it's one of their more obvious signs and indicators of what's going on. The first example is if your conure's leaning away from you. For example, you take them into a room, maybe just take them up to the kettle, and they're leaning away from it. They're like, I don't want to be near that. That's exactly what it means. I don't want to be near that. If they're leaning away from your hand or something else, it means I don't want to be near it, and you may trigger a flight or fight response. That means they'll fly away or they may bite you. The exact opposite is when they're leaning towards something. If your conure's like frantically leaning towards something, they're all skinny and they're like leaning towards it, that means they want it. We frequently see this with both Scampi, Olive and Pickles when they want a treat, they want to come to us, or they want their famous tour. Because all of the conures seem to love doing a tour around the house, and it's become part of their routine, and they get very annoyed when that happens. They also like leaning at us when we're on the toilet. It's kind of, I don't understand why they do it, but they get very excited and lean at us when we're on the toilet. So that's indicating they want to go somewhere or do something. The next common posture is common to almost all parrot species, and that is foot tucked up and fluffed up. Generally means they're very relaxed and they're quite content with their situation. If you've not seen my Signs of a Happy Conure video, it's a bit old now, which I might update it, but it's still got a lot of relevant points in it. I'll leave a card for that now. But yes, generally it means they're nice, relaxed and content. Last thing I want to talk about is head tilting. Now conures, when they're a little bit skinnier and they're tilting their head towards something, it means they're curious and interested in something. So your conure will generally tilt its head towards something they're curious about or interested. Also, it's something we find quite cute and that all parrots do, and that's the forward eyes. So their eyes will go very focused and they'll look forward as far as they can. That means they're interested in something, they like it, or they really want it. So it's something to keep an eye on with your conure. Are they tilting their head towards something? Are they forward eyeing towards a certain type of food? It could mean that that's the sort of food they want, and it could maybe save you even doing a treat hierarchy test, because those forward eyes will tell you exactly what they really want in the first place. Another subsection I thought was important to cover in this is behaviours. Conures do have some behaviours that are unique to them, as well as more commonly held across parrot species. I thought it'd be very important to talk to you about these rather than just show them in a clip show, because it will help you hopefully learn what these behaviours mean. And you can see some of it going on right here. She's snuffling. I mean, I can't, I'm going to have to leave this clip in because it's too adorable. Just look at them. Look at these two. Oh my goodness. Anyway, yeah, let's talk about behaviours. Now, conure behaviour I really like to see and I find quite funny and cute is bouncing. If conures really want something, you've got the forward eyes going, you've got them leaning and slim, and you're still not taking them to what they want, they will start bouncing and they'll get very overexcited. That, as it sounds, implies, it means they're overexcited and they want something really badly. Olive constantly does it when I'm eating my dinner, because she wants my attention or she wants my dinner, which she's not going to get. So bouncing is definitely an indicator of excitement or wanting something. The next common conure behaviour is dancing. Conures do like to dance. I think all of our conures dance in one way or another at some time. Normally a dance means a display. It could also mean a sign of nervousness occasionally. And if it's in context with a flathead, it means they're very overexcited and overstimulated. So again, it's one of those situations you may not want to touch them until they finish their dance or they've calmed down a little bit. Now this next one you may have seen in some other videos, and that is when your conure has their mouth partially open, they're leaning towards your finger. If you're waggling your little finger in front of them, they're leaning towards it with their mouth open, and they're generally quite skinny or have a flathead. That generally means they're going to try and bite you. So you may want to stop waggling that finger or moving it away. Conures will try to nip you, even if they don't intend to bite you, because they're curious about that waggling finger or other body part. So do be aware of that partially mouth open behaviour. Just don't risk it, basically. Conures also like to sway lots. They tend to sway when they're displaying or displaying posturally. It can also be a form of dance as well. The conures love to do it when they're excited again, and it tends to be a sort of territorial behaviour. It can also be a sort of bonding behaviour as well, I've noticed. So if Pickle starts swaying, I start swaying. She's almost gesturing to me as part of her flock. But it's also important to remember that sometimes if they're swaying, if they're sort of posturing like this, it could be another indicator of potential biting. So it's best to sort of take a moment and just look at the contextual factors. All the other things we talked about in this video, is there a flathead, are they fluffed up, are they skinny, and then gauge your actions based on that. Now next one's a cute one, and that is when they actually want to be petted or interacted with. Now Olive's the best example of this. She will tend to sort of fluff up, she'll tilt her head towards you, and she'll sometimes put her claw on her like face. This generally means they want to be petted and interacted with. Again, it's take a note of caution with this because conures are nippy, so just test the waters a little bit. Try the back of the neck, always try the top of the head, and some way you can pull your finger away from. With these guys, I can put my noses on them and they love to be petted with my nose. I don't know why that's a thing, but I really enjoy it. And let's see if we can show you behind. I don't know if you can see them. No, you can't quite see them, I'm afraid, but basically Pickles is displaying this behaviour right now with Scampi and asking for pets. So this is a way a conure will tell you that she wants to be interacted with and petted with. The last two behaviours I want to talk about are when your conure bows its head. Just like cockatiels, that generally means they may want to be petted, may want to be interacted with. Again, approach with a note of caution, but it's also cuddling, and conures do like to cuddle. And something to be aware of how you cuddle them, because obviously it may lead to hormonal behaviour. Never wrap your hand around them or put pressure on them. Always try and cuddle from the side, just like they would if they were cuddling another conure. So guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this video useful and learned a little bit more about conure body language and behaviour. If you ever have any problems, remember, me and Sophie run a consultation business called Best Behaved Birds, and we do all sorts of consults for all sorts of parrot species, but we know an awful lot about these guys because we have rehabilitated 3 of them from rescues. So in the meantime, hopefully you have a really good day. Any comments, as usual, please feel free to leave them down below. But take care and have a great one.